Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer and Randomania fans. Thank you so much for tuning in for the finale of the Tournament of Hopes Chaos Rampage here on Randomania. We have Rubes 000 taking on Davis, and what is looking like it could be a pretty spicy finale. I'm Caleb. I'm in the booth this time with Jet. How you doing, Jet?
Fantastic. This is going to be a great race. I've been watching throughout the day, and these are two deserving finalists. They've been playing great, and we'll have to see. I know both of them are pretty excited to be here.
Yeah, and we not only are both, I'm sure, excited to be here, but we also may have a little nerves carrying over. Davis coming off the heels of a tight race against Sir Link to get here, winning by 25 seconds. Rubes has had a little bit of time to breathe. We'll see if that break has sort of given him any sort of rest or advantage, or if Davis now has momentum to carry him through. I don't know how much actual sports metaphors work for a Final Fantasy Randomizer race, but it could.
Yeah.
It could be viable.
I mean, you gotta think, is he dialed in, or is he going back and exhausted from that huge win by 20 seconds? And we'll have to see, and that's going to be a storyline that plays out. Is DVS going to come out flying like he finished the last race, or is he going to start out a little bit shaky?
Yeah, and then you also have to worry about the seeds sort of bleeding together. This is now their third. Each of them, this is their third race in the afternoon, and for many folks, that's more seeds than they'll run in a day.
Yeah.
So how do you combat that, Jet?
So one thing that I think is really effective is taking just a very short break, which he did, and then the other thing is I always just reset my tracker and make sure I'm just using my tracker instead of relying on my memory once I get this far into the tournament, because if you're just going memory at this point, your memory is going to be so mixed up. So just use your tracker, go back to whether it's pen and paper or online, and I think that's a good way to reset.
And as far as preparing for this specific race, so not only do you have two seeds in your short-term memory pushing you into this race, but now the flags are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Not forced party could be whatever. This could be a forced party that we would normally see in Chaos Rampage, as it fits sort of the mold of forced melee, a forced fighter, a forced melee and a forced mage, and two forced whatever. So we have that here. But the big thing here is required war mech.
Yeah, now, so thanks a lot to everyone who donated to get that incentive going, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. The required war mech is going to spice this up significantly. We've seen a lot of these races today where Sky is maybe one of the first orbs that we light. So that may not be the case moving forward with this race, because war mech is going to be a pretty significant gatekeeper, and if we get Cube and Chime early, we might see a required walk into Sky to get the incentive and then leave to come back.
Yeah, I think the runners will do everything they can to avoid that, but yeah, that is definitely something that could happen. The other thing that required war mech does is it's a guaranteed pile of experience there, but if you go in slightly lower level than you're comfortable with, it's a higher risk. So it's a really interesting trade-off there of, do I go slightly lower on my initial grind and then get the rest of my levels on war mech, or am I scared of war mech so I get more levels in advance and then I just end up slightly over leveled for Topher? So that's a decision our runners are going to have to make here.
Absolutely. And before we drop the gate here, I do want to remind folks that the Tournament of Hope is in support of the Bale Project. Randomania supporting them through this wonderful tournament that they're doing. And if you want to learn more, check out baleproject.org. You can donate there, or you can donate here to the different race incentives. All the race incentives for Final Fantasy are closed. However, there are still plenty of donation incentives for the Mega Man 2 Randomizer tournament taking place tomorrow. So if you're interested in donating towards those, there are still plenty of goals to check out, such as allowing zips in the third round of the quarterfinals, all kinds of interesting options. I personally don't know a lot about Mega Man 2 Randomizer. I know that there is some amount of crossover between the Final Fantasy Randomizer community and Mega Man 2. I know Gouda and Crab Cakes and both run the Mega Man 2 Randomizer for fun as well. So if you're interested in donating towards those causes, please check out the link in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to get the ball rolling here. I'm going to drop the gate. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, but $1,500 already here, 500 more to reach the goal here. Get those donations out, get going for that Mega Man 2. And Zips is a pretty big change to that randomizer there. So if you want to see some crazy stuff on screen, throw a donation that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And like with how close we are to the actual donation goal, it's pretty exciting. I wonder if we can hit that goal right now during the race. It'd be awesome. Be super hype. Never been a part of a marathon that did that.
So one small note here, the black belt has a blessing and a curse here, as well as all the other party members. But the black belts is actually that it has thief luck, which means it's going to be as good at running away as the thief is, and that means that Rube's basically saying, "Hey, I don't need that thief. Goodbye."
Oh, hey, Lightning 3 and Temper. We're gonna have a way to kill stuff. Awesome. And life. 2 life casters out the gates, pretty good. And once so looks like there's a little bit of a stream delay for Davis. Once his stream gets going, we'll get them synced up here.
Yeah. So an early sweeper, that's the most important thing, really, to get your foot off the ground here. These runners are going to be doing fairly standard openings, I think. Yeah, and deciding to walk up to Temple of Fiends Revisited, which is kind of funny. With the free airship, you're like, hey, I can fly everywhere, but nope, you either have to walk there or you got to walk there after you kill Garland.
Yeah, barring a level 1 exit, or maybe level 2 exit if we're cheeky and go to Provoca. Because you can exit from the Canarian throne room back to the Temple of Fiends entrance. And there it is. So we're gonna getting these runners synced up. So we're gonna see Rube's pause for a second. Jay, our restreamer, teasing us, not letting us even. There it is. It's the
so kind. Yeah. So we get the adamant, which is pretty easy turn, and also 2 other, ones that are sometimes turned off with free airship. So 2 other ones that you can get early, which are the Sages as well as Sardar, will both be available alongside that adamant. So maybe we go to visit Bicky first, but after that, I wouldn't be surprised if we paid a visit to those 3 locations.
Yeah, and I know Rubes and Davis have been practicing these flags a lot. So we're going to see probably pretty clean routing, lots of sort of optimized overworld routing and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see. As we're working, we are experiencing a bit of a heavy snowstorm here on the East Coast. I know Garland has a script and opens with heal 3. That might be worth putting a pin in and coming back to. Should we see Chaos and Friends as the alt final boss?
And there we go. We are perfectly synced up. Now, of course, these 2 runners may have actually taken a little bit more or less time, but we will keep you posted on any time differential between them.
Yeah. And I've never seen 2 runners so in sync there. What? Wow. Like they're reading each other's minds. As we get a zap -1, that is the defense sword, so a decent in-game weapon there. As we get simultaneous chime picks up. And I was sort of like joking when I said that our runners have been practicing these, but they look like they are in sync right now. It's remarkable.
Oh, DVS though, showing his disdain for Provoca, so getting slightly out of sync here. But of course, this early game, it does make a big difference. Races on these shorter races, every second counts. But we'll have to see the first kind of major decisions, and I think the first major decisions that's going to be coming up is grind tile selection potentially.
Level 2 Brack for $20 is one of the best deals I've seen on that spell in the randomizer. $20 instant access, or access to instant kills for Tia 1 and Kraken 1. And Zap going to get some work here for the Thieves. So glad to see that they have a job. And Lid 3, a little more effective than Zap because it actually does the damage. So Davis having a little bit of a cleaner, quicker pirate fight and gets rewarded with the TNT. So that's nice to turn in. at the same time as that adamant.
Yeah, you're actually encouraged to like go do Crescent Lake and Sarda prior to going to the dwarves, just to see if that exact thing can happen, so you can single dip it. But at this point, both runners can just go straight to the dwarves and determine what to do from there. Wouldn't be surprised still to see Crescent Lake into Sarda into dwarves.
Pretty good fighter gear there, which our white wizard can wear, courtesy of the bonuses and malices. So, maybe when we get some money, come back and pick up some gear for that white mage and throw him up front. Just see if we get a little white mage fighter or white mage tank action going.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time the fighter is like known as the tank because of slightly higher HP pool, but in many regards the armor is just as much a part of that equation in terms of getting high effective HP. Yeah. So, being able to equip fighter armor is fantastic for that white mage.
As Rube's the first into Crescent Lake, checking it out, and Iron +2. That's the best gold bracelet you can find for a fighter with a mage with fighter armor.
Pretty heavy gold bracelet. The MVP of the last round, Wall, level 6. So that is something we can definitely pick up, and we will have some charges of most likely. But coming back to Crescent Lake just to pick up Wall is a little bit of a commitment. So I'd be curious to see if either runner decides to do it. I think it's going to depend on if they find the incentive ribbon or not.
Well, it's also worth noting the position of Wall in the level 6 shop is the second slot there is promotion lock. That's the vanilla life lock or life slot. So
exit slot.
Exit.
Yeah.
Life is level 5.
Mm-hmm.
Do we promote to get access to Wall? As Sarda gives us the Sarda special with the Dud Ruby. I saw folks in chat in the last race calling out Dud Ruby, and my eyes read DVD Ruby, and I was like, what's a DVD Ruby? Reading starts sometimes, folks.
Absolutely. Shout out to that early rod as well. The incentive in Earth Cave is kind of one of those difficult decisions to make oftentimes, because it's, hey, look, it's incentivized, it's great, we want to go there, but then it's like, do I want to double dip Earth, and how many out-of-the-way incentive locations do I want to check before I go down and get it? The rod just kind of removes that decision. If you can kill Lich, you just dive Earth, and you get to get that incentive item on the way.
And there's Oxyale from the TNT, and we get a gold bracelet +3 here in the armory, and a silver hammer +5, flame shield -4 is fine. There's level 4 fade and level 4 exit and fade. So
both red mage learnable.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And level 4 nuke.
Ooh. We'll have to see if DVS checks black magic first there, but also a little bit broke. I wouldn't be surprised here. Like, it's a little bit painful, but if he really wants early money, he could sell that flame shield and that gold bracelet +3 if he wants to fund his spell buying before he goes to Earth Cave to check grinds, for example. Also, with that early key, the Northwest Castle grinds are also available alongside 3 chests, so it wouldn't surprise me if someone goes there early as well.
Yeah, it also gives us access to the TOF spike tiles. Mm-hmm. And there's a better trap treasure box in there as well. So, usually we don't see that checked until we're going into TOF for the end game, but that is a alternative strategy should we bounce out of TOF.
A really interesting question in chat. Does the blursing of items alter their sell value? And the answer to that is no, because the value is randomized based off of the sell value of the item, the base item, and then it's randomized based off that. The blursing doesn't have an effect, but that is an interesting kind of concept. Hey, if it has this, you add an additional 10% per positive or negative blursing before you change the cost.
I was gonna say, what if it was a multiplier, but then a minus is like it would be dividers, like so.
Yeah.
A max gold bracelet that is -5 would be its value divided by 5.
Yeah. Oof.
Wildham, code it.
Shout out to Wildham, one of our developers, very, very active in the last almost year at this point, which is insane because it feels like just yesterday he was releasing his first few features. But yeah. Rube's finding a really nice tile, but unfortunately those metal slimes only weak to fire and not weak to non-elemental damage, but those are kind of what you're looking for. And Lightning 3 just not quite going to cut it.
And Davis throwing a zap at them. I like that. It might be anecdotal experience, but I've found that Slime's very susceptible to zap. But it doesn't matter. Our thief went down, and Davis thinking about trying for it again, but going to go check the earth spike tile instead. As Rube's going to pick up some armor, looks like. Nope.
Yeah. Just did a quick look up. Slime's having 43% magic defense, so Zap gonna have a chance, but not super high. But it's not like you're dealing with dragons here, so Zap could get the job done over a number of rounds if your thief didn't immediately get punched out.
And Rubes discovers the cube for sale for about 13 grand, something that Davis had already seen. So good information to have. And Rubes picking up exit.
I like this play by DVS. So what he's doing here is he's getting just enough levels to get his first fade charges, and then he's going to go out house up and go deal with those metal slimes to get into probably the mid-teens. Now, the unfortunate part for him here is that this shark tile sucks. So I wonder if he's going to go decide to check the other tile in Earth. Yeah, that's exactly what Rubes is doing here.
I feel like Davis checked this. Yeah, it's ghosts, which are susceptible to zap.
And harm 4.
Yeah, so they don't hit too hard, so it's pretty good. Got a decent amount of HP to soak 292. So, but zap gets it done. It's one of my favorite spells. People like to sleep on it.
Well, Zap is time elemental, and there's I can't remember off the top of my head. I know Chaos resists it, but I don't know if there's one other enemy or something that resists time. So Zap.
It's just Chaos. Chaos is the only enemy in the game that resists zap.
Yeah, so it's not the highest hit percentage on everything in the game, but it can kill anything, and that's except for Chaos with 3 and 256. So that is the really nice thing about Zap, is it can be kind of a get you out of any jail free card.
It's the ultimate slot machine. Like, come on, cherries, no. Wham it out. But
okay, so yeah, it looks like both of our runners with a similar plan here. Get levels, get fade the metal slimes.
And Davis looks like maybe setting up for a potential 2-man.
Oh, Chadbert pointing out something that is, experienced runners of the game will notice, but new-time viewers might not. He put his fade in slot 2 after exit, which may make sense, but it just could lead to menuing mistakes, especially if his white mage is in slot 4, so you can't press B if you accidentally click exit instead of fade. So just something to watch out for.
And Davis looks like there's some indecision here on how we're gonna do this 2-man grind on the metal slimes, as Rubes opening boxes here at Earth 2 finds an X-Cal +1 that we're not really going to use, but could sell it.
DVS's savior from last save, the X-Cal, not going to be anyone's savior in this one except for a bunch of cash.
Yeah.
Rube's checking the Asher box.
That's a house. You can build a house. That's pretty good. Jumps up to level 14. And gonna exit and house, I would hope. Or we're gonna fly back to Melmond. Ooh, Vampire soaks a 230 fade. 224 lit 3 will finish the job.
The quote-unquote spell not being resisted, or the spell crit, colloquially. Yeah. Nice lit 3.
No love for Earth 4 for Rubes.
Yeah, so there's been interesting amounts of chest opening. In this flag set, you do not need to open any non-incentive chests if you don't want to, but getting money, a little bit of armor, potentially a sword, can be huge. But keep in mind that the best sword for this particular party, if it's unpromoted, is the Masa, and that Masa is incentivized already.
Yeah.
The katana could be very, very powerful, but that does involve promoting, and that's not only a time commitment, it also decreases the black belt's MDef growth per level. So it's something that's a little bit of a trade-off for these runners.
And the interesting thing here with Davis's grind, he just hit level 18.
Mm-hmm.
That's around the levels that Rubes is, just taking fights as he goes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually, like, I think that doesn't necessarily speak to anything other than how long it's taking Davis to get through these fights, because you can see he just jumped up to level 20, so like he's getting basically a level per fight here. Maybe 2, but these slimes, if they get better turn order, it's just going to take forever.
Yeah, this is also something that can't be understated about AoE grinds versus single target grinds, which is that just casting spells takes a remarkable amount of time, especially when you have to do it 3 times. Like, for example here, that zap spell is not actually speeding up this grind, because 2 fades is essentially guaranteed to kill these slimes, and that zap, sure, it kills half of them, but then it just has to go through them all, and it misses. So, you know, DVS is committing to a grind here, and it's working out okay for him, but, you know, he's got to be careful.
Yeah. He's gonna bleed time, and the thing with doing the grind this early is it's gonna feel good to get those levels going early, but if with the XP generation of plus 20% per key item, a grind later is gonna be much quicker, and Rube's committing to the play here.
Yeah. We were just talking about this, but this is a pretty bold decision. You know, against a lot of the alt final bosses, which we do have on this flag set, your black belt could get zapped or baned down quite easily with this much lower MDef per level. So he's kind of committing to like putting that gold bracelet on his black belt, as well as finding a ribbon, or, you know, potentially picking up that level 6 wall. Because, you know, now that he's promoted, we were just talking about the fact that wall is in slot 2 in Crescent Lake, which needs to be promoted, but boom, Rubes has both the levels and the promotion required to do it.
And he might be, you know, willing to check every incentive box to get that one free ribbon. And Davis here down to the 2-man. Zap doing work for him.
Yeah, this is where Zap makes more of a difference, because you're not guaranteed to 1 round with the single fade anymore, so the Zap is now, you know, helping out. Black belt, not with the quote-unquote buffed hit, which is kind of ironic, but it is on the half crit rate, so only crits are going to get through, and at this point, not a super high chance of getting them. So Black Belt Punch is not the most effective against these metal slimes.
And Rube's buying his cube. And time to get ninja magic, so maybe he wanted access to a second nuke caster.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Keep in mind that especially like Garland, or not Garland and Friends, sorry, the Fun Dead Party Pack, as well as Warmech and Friends, which are 2 of the undead bosses which have a large number of dangerous enemies on screen, they're much more susceptible to large AoE, non-elemental AoE spells. So having 4 or 3 non-elemental AoE casters could be important, and that might be why Rubes is prioritizing this over the higher single target damage of the Black Belt.
And Davis hits 28 and is good enough for him, so gonna expect to get the rest of his levels on Warmech. So in a good position to take on Warmech now. In theory. You know, we're still like, if we had fast to back up that temper, but still no eyes on fast yet. And finding all sorts of night gear that unfortunately is just gonna go to waste.
Well, keep in mind that fast has exactly 1 slot remaining that we can learn it in, correct? Because we've checked levels 1 through 6 magic, and even then it would have to be a promoted red wizard, so it's very likely that we're going to be fastless this seed. Which is just, you know, something that's important to note, and it tends to drive up the necessity for your black belt levels if you're worried about your single target damage.
And Rubes finds the Whizvamp zombie D and zaps the dragons and nukes the wizard, and just like that, he's level 22. And a Cure 3 plus 3 sword, so that's a Bane sword plus 3. That's pretty healthy crit there. And that Thief has fighter strength, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. You were pointing out that Rubes was getting a bunch of levels through the walking grind, but keep in mind DVS will also get a number of those levels as well. So DVS's party just will be higher, but is he too high, quote unquote?
And Rubes, rewarded for opening boxes, finds a bog standard ribbon in the Volcano Armory. So free box if Davis wants it, but with Davis, I don't know if Davis is going to check the Volcano Armory.
So we have a question in chat, how does the FFR, how do you Final Fantasy Randomizer? And this is a little bit of a different seed, but in general, what we're doing is we're taking all the items that are required to win the game, and we're shuffling them all over the place. So in this case, they are in very specific chests. So these runners know exactly what chest they could potentially need to open in order to win. So there's, in this case, I believe 20 or so locations that are going to have those key items, but they don't know exactly which of those 20 locations they need to go to. So that's what they're going to do. In this particular seed, they are going to need to kill all 4 fiends in order to enter the Temple of Fiends Revisited, but that's it. So whatever is required to kill those 4 fiends is what they're going to be looking for, to light 4 orbs so that way they can travel 2,000 years back into the past and kill someone who's not Chaos, but an alt final boss instead.
Another ribbon for Rubes here in the volcano, and the free box there in the little Grey Worm room. I was waiting for just to get another one out of that box, so 2 ribbons for Rubes. Just call them Rubens. All right, David's taking on Lich. I was hoping the zap would hit.
So Zap not actually super effective against Lich, but Lich just has such low MDef that it's still a good percentage play against him.
Yeah. I like a Reuben sandwich, though, I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh yeah. I'm cooking dinner after this match. It's gonna be fantastic. So you know what? Rubes and DVS, I wish you both the best of luck, and may there not be fun dead at the end of this seed.
I don't know. Danny rolled it, and I think she had hateful things in her heart when she hit that button. So she said, "We got time to fill, boys." All right, Fade's coming out for Rubes to take care of these Frost Wolves as we find Herb in the volcano. All right, Davis gonna buy his cube. Rubes looking to light his second orb.
Yeah, so keep in mind that if you're just tuning in, Rubes, on the second orb, DVS is just about to enter the volcano. Looks like a pretty big advantage, but DVS does have a significant level advantage. So if Rubes ever goes back to get levels, DVS definitely can catch up.
Yeah. It all depends on how. And I would imagine Rubes is with that Oxyale in hand. Mm-hmm. We just need a canoe for go mode, so he's going to start thinking the big think. Where do I got to go for that ribbon turn in? And for that canoe, and it's probably going to be from that herb. Yep. So that'll be go mode for Rubes.
But it also could be in Sky. And if it's in Sky, DVS has a little bit of an advantage because I think DVS is more quote-unquote war mech ready and could just be like, you know what, I'm ready to go to Sky, and if the canoe's there, he could save a bunch of time.
This is true, yeah, I forgot about that, but we're going to get the knowledge right now. What does the herb turn into? Talking to Mr. Elf Doctor. And it's the bottle. So, at least if it's bottle, if it's not the bottle, at least it puts us in the right area. Yeah. Now, if this bottle turns into slab or crown and it sends us back to the lower continents, then oh boy.
Yeah, the thing with DVS right now is that he doesn't really need the opal bracelet or the masa or the ribbon, to be honest. He could just say, I'm going to get my black belt to be level 35, I'm going to cast Fade on 2 characters against alt final bosses and try that. Now, that could absolutely fail, but he could just say, you know what, I'm going to do these incentive turn-ins, like the bottle, for example, after I do Sky. Meanwhile, I think Rubes is going to do the opposite. I think he's going to do the incentives first.
Yeah. So double check our inventory. Yep, we got a bottle to turn in. And this is the only fetch we've got. So it's either going to be crown, slab, canoe. There's cake and warp. Life 2. Pretty good.
Yeah, Life 2 not only, of course, is great because of life, but also a fantastic time save, as it's combining Cure 4 and Life. You don't have to worry about heal potting a bunch.
Heads up play there from Rubes, knowing how many heal pots he needs. Buying exactly 77. That's one of my favorite additions to the randomizer as far as conveniences go in the past few updates. 244 from Nuke Fade backing it up. 113 a punch. At 345, and Carrie's still there, and there's the crown. Now, if you're Rubes, do you go back to Northwest, or do you just go to Sky?
I guess he's deciding Sky, but his levels, he's got to be careful here. Now, see, if this was a non-required Warmech seed, this is a different story, but this Warmech could be very scary here.
Yeah. Maybe he could get bailed out here by the cube tile. We do have one spike tile here, so if this is a better grind than those metal slimes, we can get some quick levels. Could be okay.
Mhm.
Trademark. Should be fine.
So something that you want to pay attention to here is HP totals, because Warmech is part of the Fiend Refight spell pool, which means we're dealing with all sorts of scary things, nuclears and nukes of note. And Nuke has a max roll of 400 HP, so any characters that are under 400 HP could potentially just go down turn 1 to Warmech in the worst case scenario.
But Jet, want to talk about Warmech ready. Rubes has 2 ribbons. Davis has 0 ribbons.
True. And the other side of that Fiend Refight pool are spells like Zap and Brack, Zap and Bane, which are the insta-deaths that ribbons completely resist other than a 3 in 256 chance, whereas DVS will have to rely on his natural M-Def, which is alright to be fair.
And within the Sky incentive, we have the Canoe. Okay, so Space Canoe.
Oh, wow. I can't believe this, actually. The thing that we thought DVS might have an advantage on, he's actually going the other way, because he's the one who's doing the turn-ins first. Meanwhile, Rubes, who was slightly lower level, is going to be the first runner to get Warmech and finds that Canoe. So he could technically open nothing else and turn in no more incentives for the remainder of the seed, and that's a major knowledge advantage.
All right, get those. Well, we're going to have the required Warmech, so if everybody's got their popcorn, this is going to be interesting to see how Rubes deals with this. I mean, Warmech could roll low HP. We did see that in this last race between Davis and Link, where Warmech was very susceptible to heavy fades and nukes. So,
yeah, DVS taking a little bit of a detour into Crescent Lake, trying to pick up spells, but he is not promoted, so he was unable to learn anything there. So that was just a little bit of a time loss. But we'll have to see. Hopefully, for DVS' sake, this turns into a ribbon. I think that's probably the best case scenario.
And it was. So Crown turned to ribbon. So that's good news for. More good news for Rubes, because it's a very quick turn in that I would imagine he'll do just in case it's Masa or Ribbon, and it'll be his third. So Davis with the information that now I've got to go to Sky. I hope I'm ready for Warmech.
Yeah, speaking of hope I'm ready for Warmech, let's turn our attention over to Rube's screen. We're not going to call this fight out, but we are going to say that this is the make or break point. This could be the difference right here, right now. Warmech, Rubes, Mono L Mono, except 4v1, a little bit unfair. Here we go, Warmech coming up.
All right, we're going to open up with some nukes. We're going to punch, we're going to nuke, and we're going to fade. All right, so all damage nuclear comes out. Vanilla nuclear, we survive it, but the white wizard takes a heavy roll there for 292. Nuke's low roll. Black belt not punching too hard, but geez Louise. I heard you like free experience. That Warmech had like 500 HP.
Yeah. So our bosses are at 50 to 200% HP. Warmech has 1000 HP in vanilla. That was on the lower end of what that Warmech could have possibly rolled. Keep in mind, that Warmech could have also had 2000 HP instead, but the Rando's going to Rando.
They don't make them like they used to, says Retro Gaming 2004. No, they don't. You are exactly right. Now, maybe next time we do one of these marathon incentive runs, we'll have an incentive to clamp the bosses. As Rube gets the first turn Brack, and the hits just keep on hitting for Rubes, and that's a third orb.
So Brack there, a 26.9% chance of hitting. So of course, first turn not unreasonable, but that's a major time save. A lot of the time the reason people cast Brack is not because they can't kill it with punches, it's just because Brack's faster, and that's what he got.
So Rubes headed to C to light his fourth and final orb. Davis on the Bridge of Destiny, in a little bit better of a position with the black belt, but Rube's whole party now level 32 basically, so the level is sort of balanced out there. As actually Davis the black belt is only 31 just now, so luckily this Nacho should throw the black belt over the level 32 threshold.
So why is that threshold important?
So the black belt gets its damage from the amount of punches it throws as well as its respective level. Its strength doesn't really matter for its damage output. So Davis wants that level 32 because at level 32, the black belt innately gets its 8th hit. At level 21, it picks up its 6th. At level 42, it picks up its 10th. So 8 hits is way more hits than a fighter or thief will ever get in the vanilla game with any sort of weapon. And throwing 8 hits, each one with its own chance to crit, and each one doing a fair amount of damage on its own, it's going to be pretty really good. And there it is. There's 32 for the black belt, and now Davis feels comfy cozy to pull Warmech as Rubes onto the seafloor. So we'll see if this first turn nuclear rolls poorly for Davis, or if Warmech pulls out some other tricks, or just falls down on its face like ED209 navigating some steps.
Kale, you're just killing it, man. We can tell you've been doing these comms all day. All that practice.
There's a whole big punch from Warmech, 399 damage, rubs on Davis's screen, and we're gonna temper, and the black belt takes a big punch, and we're still playing it safe with the invises when we need it. And there's a ribbon for Rubes. My brain's broken, chat. All the ribbons. I'm telling you, just call this man Rubens.
Rubens, 4 of them. So DVS has a very powerful black belt, but he doesn't have he's not going to have 4 ribbons. So not only that, he's going to be a full orb behind. Something bad is going to need to happen to Rubes here, but Rubes is set up very well for most alt final bosses. Pending disaster, Rubes is in good position here. He's done a really good job of managing his levels and his spells and all that stuff throughout to know what his win condition is.
And a shout out to Rubes here, and also for Davis, as Davis takes down TO1 and lights his 3rd orb here. Davis, relatively new to the community, joined right after the spring tournament last year, took part in the Duck Derby from the summertime, and has come so far in his racing ability, and we've seen him really sort of grow and blossom within like the Iron Goal hardcore divisions, like really choose on like the nastier flags, where Rubes, also relatively new to the community, joined right before our fall league, so a couple months behind Davis. And Rubes you can see it, like he's just come so far, and so it's like to put on a performance of this quality at this level of play is super proud of the guy. I'm super proud of both these runners for being relatively new in the community and just crushing it. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. Big shout outs. Like all 4 of our semi-finalists here kind of joined within the last year. So, yeah.
All right, so Rubes gets the bracket luck to continue breaking the bosses in his way, and he's going to make these final preparations, just double checking magic. Picking up lock. Good backup strategy, I guess. Might as well get it while we're here. And going to head to Topher at the 32. I was kind of hoping he would just go check out the what the crown turn-in was.
With 3 ribbons. I mean, the best case scenario for him is the Masa at that point, but for Rubes, it just doesn't really matter because he has, a decent level black belt, and he has 3 non-elemental AoE casters, so his ninja is most likely going to be casting a nuke instead of swinging the Masa anyways.
And so we know that the crown turn-in is a ribbon from Davis doing that. That leaves the Masa and Opal bracelet on the table, which are either in Waterfall or behind the slab, one of which is either in Mermaids or the Waterfall. So Waterfall is either the weapon or the armor or the slab. And yeah. So Lich 2 just falls apart, and carry opens with crack. Not going to be a problem with all the ribbons we got.
Could be a problem on DVS's side, though. Much scarier for his party than it is for Rubes's. But DVS basically a full Topher wipe behind here. He is going to need something bad to happen to Rubes, or Rubes is going to take this one with, honestly... Actually, I'm quiet. Rubes is in Topher right now. That is what is currently occurring. I'm not going to speculate at all.
Don't be jinxing any of the runners, Jet.
Don't put that energy in here.
With short Topher, this could be anyone's game. Like you said, It's just one nasty bit of luck in Topher, and you're at the beginning, and Davis has lit his 4th orb now, so he's going to be coming too. And Kraken with Cure 4, just enough to slow down Rubes in this fight.
Yeah, so Bert pointing out something that a more veteran runner might notice is that this is not going to be the Fun Dead party pack, and the reason for that is because the Lich gets a buff to his HP if Fun Dead is on, and that Lich went down so quickly that we can basically mathematically remove the possibility of the Fun Dead being on. The scariest thing in Alt Final Boss is when Lich won't die at the beginning of it, because you know what's coming, and Fun Dead is the hardest Alt Final Boss.
We did see Garland had a script early on. Garland opened with heal 3.
Yes.
So could be frustrating or annoying, as Davis is going to open the boxes, something that Rube skipped doing, and there is nothing here, just some maliced gear. But Davis going to get the very quick Lich 2 kill as Rube's coming all gas into Tia 2.
So Danny, our tracker tonight, pointing out that DVS entering Topher 1.5 minutes behind, so that's the gap he's got to make up.
And Game Boy, the tournament organizer, pointing out we did all these annoying incentives, and we're at the final boss at 35 minutes. Game Boy, we probably should have had like clamps or something on. Oh man,
We couldn't even turn on the Masa chest because it's short Topher.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
All right, okay. Rube's through, so we're gonna see all final boss, and Davis going with Zap strats, doesn't have the ribbons. That's the difference here. That's the difference in the run. Rube's with 3 ribbons found in free boxes. And here we go. It's Warmech and friends. All right, so we know what Warmech has. We know it's not HP.
So that bet that just got resolved was not this race. That was the last race getting resolved, just as a heads up. So Rubes has not yet finished, but this is a perfect fight for
Rubes' poison damage, though.
And Warmech's with nuclear. These Warmechs have no HP. You just need turn order.
Yeah, we did see the... Oh, buddy. There we go. So Rubes showing that ribbons are nice, but they won't make everything easy, as Davis going to deal with the poison damage, evil men, and nuclear mechs without ribbons.
DVS needs turn order, but he could win this with turn order. But if he doesn't get it, it's going to be very, very rough.
And here it comes. Punch, 10 hits, 407, 383. Down goes the thief. Here comes the first poison damage. We soak 1. We have the 1 ribbon on the white mage. Poison damage is piling in here. Poison damage. And then the nuclear, and then another poison damage, and finally Fade goes out, but not enough damage coming out of that Fade, and we need another turn order here as Evilman back it up with Cremate, and now they're punching, and Warmech has Swirl, another non-elemental. We get our first Warmech down, and that's a white for Davis, so this is gonna be a bad fight for Davis without the significant amount of ribbons that Rubes has.
It's not the ribbons. It's literally turn order. This is the slot machine alt final boss. If you for example, if Rubes gets nuke fade off first, this fight's he's winning. If they get poison off first, he's losing. It's that simple. And Rubes with the extra nuke caster does have an advantage.
Well, Rubes will also benefit from the ribbons in that the poison damages won't do as much damage as they're eating up Davis for. So
that's true.
And Tia with nuke just going to drain some resources, and because Tia didn't really have a whole lot of HP, but we got to use a Cure 4 there to keep the white wizard alive, and luckily a turn order comes through. Alright, we're going to see about this turn order this time. Putting the black belt up front. Opening up with a nuke and some fades. Good turn order there. Nuke comes out. Doesn't take out any of the evil men. Here comes the first poison. Here comes the second poison. Here comes the third poison. Oh no. punch for 110. Here comes the fade, and there goes the first Warmech down.
Oh, big fade rolls. This is huge. Wow, the turn order is massive there.
Nope, nope, nope. There it is. GG to Rubes, taking it down with an official Racetown time of 39 minutes. I'm sorry, 38 minutes and 7 seconds. GG Rubes.
Yeah, that was a really, really well run race for Rubes. Not only that though, like the promotion made a difference, their extra nuke cast, and also just finding ribbons in boxes. My goodness. Can you believe it? 3 loose ribbons in like 15 chests he opened in the whole seed.
It's remarkable. Let's get Rubes in here. Hey, GG Rubes. Rubes. Rubes, come back. Rubes.
Bye, Rubes.
Rubes.
He'll come back. We are joined also though by our silver medalist today, DVS. GG's DVS.
Thank you. Yeah,
That
GG
was-
Rubes.
GG Rubes.
GG.
You just sound a little more excited. That was very well done. I think I'll speak for everyone when I say I think this came down to you coming up with a new nickname, Rubes, that I just gave you during the race. Start calling you Rubens. You found so many ribbons.
Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, that would have been helpful. Oh, wow.
It seemed like Rubes, it seemed like every box you opened and like just a one-off check was a ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
What was your? So we saw you promote early. What was your strategy with this party comp?
I wanted, not knowing what the final boss would be, I wanted to make sure that I had the, as much AoE as possible. And once I saw Nuke rolled level 4, I'm like, okay, I'm going to promote, so I make sure that my ninja can have Nuke, and and hopefully I'll find a ribbon, and then I won't worry about the black belts MDef as much. And I found 3.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable. Davis, what was when you saw the party comp here? What was your strategy going into it?
With these flags, I try not to plan too much in advance. It was, black belt with, what was it? Stats and stuff. So it was probably keep an eye open for a grind. I hate red mages with a passion, so I was hoping that the thief would be able to actually be able to do something. White mages I really like, and the fact that we had level 2 fade was nice. So yeah, it was pick things up as they go. And I can't help me out. Crescent Lake Black Magic slot 1. Is that Red Master learnable or Red Wizard learnable?
Yes,
Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. So with this party, that battle for should I promote, should I not promote, kind of constantly came up in my mind throughout the run, and I couldn't justify the time to promote. Even though Fast was at level 6, I needed to do my information dive in Topher first, and found out that I didn't need Fast. So, yeah, I try to play it as it comes.
Yeah, I think the promotion was actually bigger for Rubes for getting Nuke on his ninja than it was for getting Fast. And honestly, DVS, you wiped in Temple of Fiends Revisited on that alt final boss after Rubes had wiped, but if that fight had gone slightly differently, it would have made a difference. You would have been the winner here. It's just Rubes with the extra ribbons had a higher chance, and an extra ribbons and extra Nuke caster had a higher chance of that boss going right, and it just ended up going right the next time. But to be honest, DVS, on your first dive, you got the worst turn order I think possible. With 6
8
poisons.
damage poisons before I could do 1 turn.
Yeah.
And then I think I got nucleared. It was
yeah.
Man, yeah.
Usually the evil men don't do anything, but they showed up today.
Yeah.
Man. Well, and the fact that my black belt and my white mage actually survived that entire onslaught of damage poisons.
Shoutouts
Was
to
it
Ribbon
what?
then.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and I didn't have wall.
Yeah,
And
we just
so,
got
like-
promotion locked as well.
Yeah, like when I wiped that first time, and you could see me just like running through all of the possible scenarios of how to like come back and be ready for it, but also knowing my opponent and how good he is, I kind of attributed it to my typical RNG, which is really, really bad, and figured I'd give it another shot. So
Yeah, I think diving again was like the play you had to make there, but maybe if both of you guys wipe again, you make adjustments.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the finals of this tournament. Maybe we'll just pass it over to if you have any comments on the tournament as a whole, and shout outs once again to Randomania for hosting this, as well as keep this marathon going.
Absolutely. So I think we are wrapped for the day, but tomorrow is going to be Mega Man 2 Randomizer. So please tune in to Randomania tomorrow for that. It begins, let me double check the schedule, around 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be racing Mega Man 2 Randomizer in very much the same sort of format. So first and second quarterfinals at the same time, third and fourth quarterfinals at the same time, 45 minutes later, followed up by the first semifinal, second semifinal, and final at around 9 p.m. Eastern during the marathon. So please check out Randomania tomorrow for that. Thank you, Game Dev Klingon, for the Prime subscription. Appreciate that. And don't forget to please donate to the Bail Project. It is a wonderful charity. Please look into them and support them as best you can. So thank you, Jet, for joining me in the booth for this finale match. I guess we'll pass it around for final thoughts to our champion, our Chaos Rampage champ, Rubes 000. Final thoughts, man. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll shout it out afterwards. I just saw gameplay post.
Yeah, this was a ton of fun. I'm glad everybody enjoyed it, and I'm glad we could just come together, play a game, and raise money for a good cause. So thank you, Randomania, for hosting, and thanks for the commentary. And GG, Davis. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
And real quick, programming note from Game Boy. At 8 p.m. Eastern, so just about 20 minutes, just enough time to get up, grab a snack, stretch your legs, and come back. We're going to have the Super Smash TV part of the marathon. So 8 p.m. Eastern, please come back for that too. Davis, our runner-up in the Chaos Rampage tournament. Your final thoughts, bud?
yeah, I mean, to echo what Rube said, ton of fun. Shout out to I don't know if you guys have mentioned him yet, but shout out to Burt Reynolds for crafting these flags. Really wish he could have been a part of the tournament, but I've really enjoyed practicing these and just racing everybody in the tournament, everyone in the community. Yeah, feels good to get a tournament, another tournament down. Big thanks to Randomania as well. And a number of us were talking about doing donations for every downed warrior. So I gotta count how many times I dropped somebody, and try to do some quick accounting. But yeah, thank you very much.
Shout outs to Warmack and Friends for donating to this tournament. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll pass it over to Caleb though. Thank you very much. It was a blast. Thanks again to Danny, our tracker, and Jay Shadhill. And I'll pass it over to Caleb to wrap things up here tonight.
Awesome. And we do have, before we close out for the Final Fantasy Randomizer portion of this marathon, we had one more donation come in under the gun. Danny, our wonderful tracker, donated $15 and said, would have been better with a Black Mage. It's probably not wrong. So bear in mind, at 8 p.m. Eastern, the Super Smash TV tournament is going to take place. It is 8 races with the person finishing last eliminated after each race until a winner is crowned. Should be a lot of fun, lots of runners in that. So don't forget to hang out and stick around for that. 8 p.m. Eastern, Super Smash TV here on Randomania. As far as the FFR gang, thanks so much for tuning in and watching, and hope you guys stick around and watch the next leg of the marathon. Y'all have a great night.